Welcome to Who Wants to Be an Entrepreneur with Nancy Gaskins, inspiring and teaching everyday people how to create, fund, and live a life worth smiling and talking about. I believe the best way to do that is to become an entrepreneur. My name is Nancy Gaskins, and I am your host. All our shows are recorded and archived so you can listen and learn online all year long, 24/7. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and you're also invited to join us each Friday from 11:30 to 1 Central Standard Time for our weekly Lunch and Learn Zoom Friday event. Bring your elevator pitch, an irresistible offer, and earn as you learn how to grow your business using this exciting new economy called virtual marketplaces. The current COVID crisis was a wake-up call for many people. It showed us just how vulnerable we are if we only had one stream of income, specifically a job. There's never been a better time than right now to dust off that dream to become an entrepreneur. So I'm encouraging everybody I know and everybody within my sphere of influence, including everybody within that can hear my voice, you need to own and operate your own business, folks. Home-based business opportunities, work from home, multiple streams of income, those are three very hot topics and at the top of all of the search engines right now. Why? Because people are looking for affordable options like never before. I've decided to do something just a little bit different this fall, and I've decided that I am teaming up with entrepreneurs from all over the world. We'll be discussing their entrepreneurial journeys, the good, the bad, and the ugly. These are real people just like you and I who've agreed to share their stories in hopes of inspiring you and encouraging you to follow those entrepreneurial dreams. One of the things I'd like to tell you, though, it's not always sunshine and roses, and we can't guarantee you that you're going to make $1 million. However, but for most of us, it's a lifestyle that's full of potential and full of possibilities. And for that, there's no way that any of us could put a price tag on that. I'd like to share with you a couple of stats that I'm going to be continuously sharing over the next couple of weeks because I think they're so important that I want you to see just how much opportunity is available right now. Did you know that 48% of Americans have the dream to own and operate their own business? Number two, 51% who launch are over 50 years of age. Number three, 69% start their business from home. Last but not least, the average startup is $10,000. Now, to elaborate on that just a little bit, if 48% of Americans have the dream to own and operate their own business, chances are the rest of the world is following suit. Most everybody that I know, business is opening up. The entrepreneurial dream is alive all over the world. You can see from my card up there, it's alive and well worldwide. It's not just Americans who are wanting to pursue that dream. And that dream is going to look different for each and every one of us, depending on who you are and where you are. So that spells opportunity. Next, 51% who launch are over 50. Why do you think that is? Well, sometimes we have entrepreneurial dreams when we're young, and then we get married, life starts happening, we have kids, we get into the grind of things, and then we just kind of throw them on the back shelf. Later on, as time goes on, we get older, a little bit wiser, the kids move out, we're empty nesters, or something happens like COVID or something else, and all of a sudden we wake up and we decide, guess what? I always had that dream, so now it may be time to do it. So I believe in my heart that's probably why we have that, plus money. Next, 69% start their business from home. Why? Because it's affordable. Home-based businesses are just crazy right now. We can use the tax benefits to write a whole lot of things off. We don't have to have brick and mortar anymore, thanks to the internet and all these wonderful things. The average startup is $10,000, but unfortunately for many families, $10,000 may as well be $1 million. Why? Because we're not set ourselves up for success. If you don't believe me, how many of your friends and family couldn't wait to get that $1,200 stimulus check in the mail? Everybody was talking about it, right? How many people freaked out after 1 or 2 weeks without going to work? Why? Because they didn't have their emergency reserves. So folks, this is your wake-up call. One of the things that I have on my heart, one of my big bodacious dreams is I want to have, and we've already got it in place, a grant program for startups. So if you know of anybody that has a great idea, whether it's profit or nonprofit, please send them my way. And we're going to be launching that probably over the next 90 days, a grant for startups. So with that said, I'm so excited today because on today's episode, you're going to meet Miss Blaney Teal. Welcome to the show, Blaney.
Hi, thank you so much, Nancy, for having me. Excited to be here today.
Well, I'll tell you what, I met Blaney a few weeks ago and talking about a dynamo. Let me tell you, she's all that and a bag of chips, and I am here to, boy, raise my hand and tell you, she is one that you need to watch because the sky's the limit with her. And when you talk about a rocket ship, she's your gal. So Blaney Teal of Next for Success, she's also known, which I love this, Blaney, the Passionpreneur Coach from Baltimore, Maryland. She's a mom of two, an enthusiastic boater, and a serial entrepreneur. So take a few minutes, Blaney, and share your story, how you became an entrepreneur, and how did you get into your current business?
All right, well, my story goes all the way back to when I was 7 years old. Believe it or not, I used to create and crochet these little wreaths, and I was so entrepreneurial, I would go around to all the nuns and the teachers in my school and sell them these wreaths at Christmas time. That's when I first got my first little excitement of being an entrepreneur. But it just kept growing from there. And it's so funny when I look back at this, I had really forgotten this path that I was on until someone recently asked me. And then I said, wow, at age 9, I had a little business where I would go to the beach every year with my parents, and my girlfriend and I would hand paint barrettes, and we would take them to the beaches and go up to all of the moms that had kids. And here we are at 9 and 10 years old, going down the beaches and selling our little barrettes. And we would come home at night and paint more, and then we'd go back and sell the next day, and we would sell out every single day. And so, of course, that just kind of got me on this entrepreneurial journey. And then being a crafter, my mom and I love to craft. I started a business called Crystal Fabric Figurines when I was about 12 or so, couldn't even drive. My mom drove me to all of the craft shows, and we would sell the figurines. We even wholesaled them to local stores in Baltimore and Annapolis. And that went on for many, many years until I got married, and he was like, whoa, okay, no more craft shows. I had to change gears just a little bit. But that led me to my next journey. You know, I was a real estate agent, a title agent, and then I got laid off. You talk about job security, right? You think you have a 6-figure job and everything's great. You're pregnant, you're going to have your second child, and the economy takes a tank in 2006 or so. And the next thing you know, you're laid off from your 6-figure job. And that was me. And I was like, OMG, what am I going to do? So a couple months later, I attended a consignment sale. And then I ended up coming home. My mom said, hey, Blaney, how was that event? And I said, oh, I could have done that so much better. She said, what did you say? I said, I could have done that so much better. And 3 months later, my mom and I went into business together. We started a kids consignment sale from scratch, no franchise, no nothing. And I ran that for 11 years, 100 plus events. I helped put over $2 million into mom's hands in commissions that I paid out, or probably even more than that. I lost track. And then on top of that, I sold the business in 2018. So that takes me to where we are now. So in 2018, I was able to pass that along to another mom who could help her family and be an entrepreneur. And I started a networking group, kind of like what you do. I started a networking group locally here in Maryland in 2017. Love doing networking. And then, oh my gosh, guess what? COVID hit. And now what am I going to do? So everybody always told me that I have this passion for teaching and sharing and coaching, and that I need to share it with the world. And that's how I ended up right here with Next for Success and the Passionpreneur Coach.
That is amazing. Love it, love it. And you know, a lot of people, I love hearing those childhood stories because that's same with me. I can go back and I can look at all of those little things that we did as kids. And I know a lot of us were born entrepreneurs, but I also believe that you can be taught to become an entrepreneur. But I just think those stories like what you shared really, when you go to write your memoirs, and I hope that you've already started those, that's really going to be something wonderful for you to hand down to your grandchildren one day.
Yep, and my daughter's following in my footsteps, by the way. So the apple doesn't fall from the tree.
So tell us what you're doing right now. Tell us what who your target market is, and what are you involved in right now?
Well, fantastic. So what I have found is my superpower, as they call it, is helping entrepreneurs with their mindset, their skill set, their tool set. And what I do with that is help them implement tools and systems that can save them time and money and shorten that learning curve. But I also do without breaking the bank. And I do that through my Next for Success Accelerator Academy. and my Passionpreneur Summit that's coming up. So that's what I do, and that's who I love to help.
So you want to go into that and tell us about the Passionpreneur Summit right quick, now that you've got everybody's interest peaked?
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. So I have been absolutely blessed to be able to gather 30 expert speakers from around the world, including Nancy, who's here with me right now. We are going to be gathering, and we are going to be putting on 30 presentations in 5 days. Each one's about 45 minutes long, but each one is going to give you takeaways, aha moments, or strategies, or tips, or something you can implement in your business. And it really doesn't matter where you are in your business, because everybody can grow and everybody can learn. And even if you're not ready for all of the information now, as an entrepreneur, you always need to be open-minded. And so these topics are going to cover mindset, skill set, and tool set, just like I talked about what I love to do. And we are going to help you make more money doing what you love. So maybe you're passionate about cooking or pets or finance or homes, whatever you're doing out there, you're passionate about it. And maybe you've already started a business, or maybe you're thinking about, just like Nancy said, thinking about starting a business around something you love. So the purpose of the Passionpreneur Summit is to help you make more money doing what you love, whatever that is. And it doesn't even have to be an entrepreneur, because when I was in new homes, you know, I didn't own the company, but I sold real estate, and I was able to still be an entrepreneur in the mindset, right? So I treated it just like a business, even though it wasn't my business. So you can work for someone else and still have an entrepreneurial spirit and an entrepreneurial mindset. So the summit is going to be absolutely amazing. It's coming up August 10th through the 14th. It is totally free, which is the best part about this. I said, I don't like to break your bank, right? We want to give you value. The world needs this right now. And that's why I was going to put it off to November, but my friends and colleagues said, no, Blaney, like, the world needs to hear what these presenters have to say right now. So that's why we're doing it right now.
Well, we'll put all the links and the contact information, all that in the description. I'm very excited about the event. Absolutely love it. And for those of you who have ever considered about wanting to launch your own event or anything, I'm telling you, you need to look at Blaney's template and how she's done this. She's done a world-class job at this. And I was involved with an organization that's all we did over in Europe. Throughout Europe, that's all we did was put on conferences and things like this. And I was so impressed when I started looking at how Blaney had put all this together. Clearly, she knows what she's doing, and she has assembled some amazing speakers, and me notwithstanding, but I'm just saying there's some really, they're going to be bringing their A game. So you don't have anything to lose by not going in there and getting your free ticket. You know, send it out to all your friends, invite your friends to go. And she's got some options. Granted, you may not can be there for every single event and all that, but there's some options where you can get that later as well. And I love the name of that. How did you come up with that? And how'd you get your tagline there?
Absolutely. It's actually kind of funny. You know how you just start talking to people and they're like, well, what are your superpowers? What are you good at? And everybody always says they love my energy and they love my passion. No matter what I do, I throw my heart into it, right? And whether it's running the consignment sale, like you said, helping all those moms make extra money, or whether it's selling real estate or whatever it is, if it's teaching, coaching, people always tell me that when they have a conversation with me, they always learn something because I'm always giving, right? I absolutely love sharing my knowledge, my skills, and all that great stuff. And so now I can share it with the world. So Passionpreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. If you've ever met me, you can hear me. You ever talk to me, you'll know I'm very passionate about everything that I do. If I'm not passionate about it, then it's not worth me doing. I'm not going to do it.
Well, we've got that. Like I said, I'll put the links in there. Let's go back for just a minute and let's talk about your Accelerator Academy. What makes that so unique, and what do we need to know, and what kind of services do you offer through your academy?
Right. So the Academy has been something that has been developed thanks to COVID as well. And it's amazing when you start putting your mind together. So the Academy is made up of 4 live trainings a month. So I go live for an hour every Wednesday inside of the Academy. 2 of the weeks it's in the morning, 2 in the weeks it's in the evening, because I am international, got to hit all those time zones. And I'm training on things that you need in your business. So it's systems, it's tools, it's automation. I spend an hour going over what I use. So one thing about the Academy is unique is I never recommend any tool or resource unless I use it myself and I vetted it. So I'm not going to try to sell you a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to try to fake it till I make it. Like everything I teach is what has got me to where I am today. Right. And then so it's 4 hours of live training. And then we do a live Q&A every single month where it's basically ask me anything. So what's great about the Academy is everything is recorded. So if we started it in May, so we have 4 weeks of May, 4 weeks of June, 4 weeks of July. When you join the Academy, everything is categorized by, are you looking at Facebook or LinkedIn or TikTok or, messenger bots, social media calendars. Like we have everything laid out for you. So depending on where you are in your business, you can jump right in to that module and just watch the training that you need right now. And the rest is there for when you need it. The Academy is just right now. I always take feedback from my members. So if they say, Blaney, this is hot right now, I really need you to help me walk through this, then I'll do a live training on that this month. Best part about the Academy is it's no contract. It's month to month. So once you join the Academy, you can stay for a month, you can stay for 3 years. It's up to you how much information, but there's always new content. And because the world's always changing, right? Social media is always changing. We've got to continue to upgrade and update our information. But you're going to find I spent thousands of dollars on courses. I've spent thousands of days, hours, and months Googling, YouTubing, learning what works, what doesn't. I mean, you could want a tool and you could go out there and look on the internet and you could find 17 different answers and half of them are wrong. So what I've done is I've kind of streamlined all that for you. And when you join the Academy, you're getting the best, the cream of the crop, the stuff that works, the stuff that's implementable, and it's not going to break your budget. I'm not trying to put you into high ticket items. We're trying to make it practical. Because if you're like me, I mean, I was a solopreneur for 11 years, right? I did it all. So I had to make sure that I was frugal and that I took care of what I needed to do. But it doesn't mean you can't do it all for free. You know, you do have to make an investment. So invest in the Academy. It's probably the best thing you can do. Again, I always tell my customers and my clients, if you don't learn one thing per month, then I don't deserve your business, because with 5 hours of training, I'm sure you will get one tip, one aha moment or something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the things too, you can learn, but you have to also implement, and there's no sense in reinventing the wheel when you've got somebody here like Blaney, who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt for it, and clearly a success story. You really need to follow in their lead. I mean, there's all room for, you to do your own thing, but at the same time, take some tips from people who have been there before you and make your life a whole lot easier, a whole lot less stressful, and also you'll make more money. Why? Because you're not having to waste those dollars on crap that doesn't work. And trust me, just like she said, there's tons of junk out there on the field. So let's change gears just a minute. Let's get down in the trenches and let's talk about some tips and advice that you'd give for somebody that's interested in becoming an entrepreneur.
Okay, so something just came to my mind that I think is really important if you're looking at starting a business, or maybe you've started a business and failed, right? A wise coach of mine many years ago said to me, because when you're in an entrepreneur position, sometimes you have failures. Like she said, it's not always a straight line, right? The road to success goes forward, backwards, curves, and goes back up again, right? I mean, it's not a straight line. So the biggest advice I can give someone that maybe has tried to be an entrepreneur, maybe you've had a business or you've seen others and you're like, they didn't do so great at it. Keep this in mind. First of all, everybody should have a second source of income, right? You just need to find the one that's right for you. And when that person said that to me, and I get chills every time I say that, because I had been in a business that I didn't feel I was a success in. And that released me and said, wow, okay, so that business wasn't the right one for me. I'm going to keep going and finding one. And I did, and I have, of course, right? And then don't forget, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So sometime in your life, as an entrepreneur, you might not be ready, but when you are, just make sure that your mind is open, because when that person shows up and is willing to offer you an opportunity or coach you, right, or to bring you along, don't miss it. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? The only way that you honestly are going to fail is if you quit.
Yes.
Really. that is the only way you can really fail in a business is if you quit. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have good days and bad days. Get a mentor, get a coach, get an accountability partner, get someone who's going to bring you up on your bad days and say, wait a minute, you're doing great. Let's not worry about that. Let's move on. And then you'll be able, I mean, believe me, being an entrepreneur sometimes can be even lonely, right? Yes. I mean, you're working by yourself. So my biggest advice too is get an accountability partner, right? Get a mentor, somebody that you can bounce ideas off, somebody that literally, when you have a bad day, you can call them and I have that person and I call them like, oh gosh, I had a really weird day today. I'm feeling kind of out of sorts. And we'll talk through it and be like, oh gosh, you got so much going on. Just take a day of rest and move on.
So what lessons have you learned? What's something that you know now that you'd wished you'd known sooner? Something just popped in my mind because you said that you sold your business. I'd like to bring you back one time. Maybe we'll bring a panel of people on and let's talk about those who have grown a business and sold them off, because that's something, you know, that might be an exit strategy that a lot of our listeners, that's their goal and that's their dream. So I'd like to bring you back on for that. But what can you tell us? What are some things that you wish you'd known back then?
So one of the things that I think entrepreneurs struggle with the most is really being a solopreneur and wanting to do it all. A lot of us are very high touch, right? We really want to make sure everything's done the way that we want it because we have this vision. And in many of my businesses, and I find I struggle with that as well, but there comes a point where you need to outsource. And you need to do that honestly as quickly as you can, because how much is your time worth? Right? If you're in the field and you're bringing in business and you're doing that kind of stuff, somebody else can be social media posting for you. Somebody else can be responding to emails for you. You shouldn't be doing the mundane tasks. They have to be done, but you don't need to be doing them. And I think for me, that was one of my challenges. And now I have a VA, get a VA. They're not that expensive and they're the best money you can spend to automate and take over some of your tasks that get done. Posting on social media is a big one, writing even articles for you, doing your uploads, downloads, all that stuff. So I wish I had not been so proud of an entrepreneur at that time, that I could have said, yes, I just need to outsource this and let go of some of that control. And I really, truly believe the sooner that you get realize that it's not an expense, it's an investment. When you get a VA or you get some help, it's really not an expense, it's an investment, because you're going to be able to be so much more productive and you're going to do what you like best. For me, I like being in front of people, whether it's on Zooms or in person, speaking, presenting, training. I don't like, returning emails for the same information over and over again, right? So automation is huge too. I'm a huge fan of Calendly. That has totally changed my business. When people want all my time, I put it back on them. So don't be afraid to say, hey, if you want an appointment with me, here's my calendar, book it. Because they will, and when they will show up. I have a 0 no-show rate when I do my calendar, but when I book it on the phone or text or emails, I get stood up. So what does that say?
Exactly. And sometimes people have to be trained. A lot of people, they don't like that, but guess what? They'll get over it. And that's what I've used. That's how I've been able to get so much done. And I'm sure you're the same. Do you have any special offers for our listeners today? And by the way, let me back up for just a second. For those of you who may not know what she's talking about when she said VA, that is a virtual assistant. And again, we'll bring some people on and we're going to be talking about virtual assistants in an upcoming podcast, but I just wanted to clear that up in case some of you weren't familiar with that term. So I apologize. What is your special offer today?
So my special offer is, if anybody is thinking about starting a business, has a business, my main ask for you is to go get your free access pass for the virtual Passionpreneur Summit. You will not be sorry, even if you can't watch them all. I promise you, just get your ticket and watch the ones that you can. There's a 24-hour replay, so you can watch the replays. But do yourself a favor and invest some time in your business by watching these experts share their knowledge, their skills, and their information with you.
Thank you very much for joining us today. You've been listening to Blaney Teal. Join us next time as we explore a little further into the wonderful world of entrepreneurship, where we offer tips and advice on how everyday people just like you and me are building sustainable business models that can fund the life of your dreams. You've been listening to our new series called Who Wants to Be an Entrepreneur with Nancy Gaskins. We believe the best way to fund and live a life worth smiling about is what? To become an entrepreneur. So we invite you, come join our tribe. Thank you very much, Blaney. See you soon.
Thank you very much for having me.